If your cichlids won't breed, even though everything looks perfect, listen closely, because this is the trap. In this video, I'll show you the 3 breeding signals and the exact trigger schedule that makes spawning repeatable. No guessing, no luck, just a system. But listen, this is not one of those videos you can skip through. If you jump ahead, you will miss the first signal, and without the first signal, the rest is nothing. So watch this in order, step by step. Your tank can look clean, your male and female ratio can look right, your caves and rocks can look perfect, your fish can look healthy, and you can still get nothing for months. No eggs, no fry, no pairing, just waiting. And here's the worst part. The longer you wait, the more you start blaming the wrong things. Genetics, food, the caves, the temperature, even yourself. But what if I told you the reason is simpler than all of that? What if your tank is doing one thing perfectly that quietly blocks spawning? In this video, I'm going to show you what elite breeders do differently. Safe, controlled changes that unlock spawning without turning your aquarium into a chemistry disaster. No crazy chemicals, no risky swings, just controlled change that makes fish finally flip into breeding mode. And stay with me, because halfway through this video, there's one truth that will probably annoy you, because it proves most perfect tanks are actually sterile by design. Now watch this. You turn the lights off at night. The tank looks calm, fish hover, no chasing, no panic. You think, good, they're comfortable, but calm is not breeding. Calm is just waiting. And this is why people get confused. They think no problems means breeding should happen. But breeding is not a reward for a clean tank. Breeding is a response to signals. And here's the scary part. Your test kit won't show you the missing signal, because fish don't think like test kits. They don't read numbers. They read changes, patterns, environment. In nature, breeding season isn't stable. It's change. Rain hits, fresh water enters, minerals shift, the water feels different, and the fish get one message, now. But in a home aquarium, we remove that message. Same routine every week, same water, same minerals, same everything. Then we sit there staring at the glass like the fish are going to suddenly feel romantic out of nowhere. Here's your first reality check. If you've been running the same exact water change routine for months, you might be running the best survival system ever made and still blocking breeding completely, because stability keeps fish alive. It doesn't always make them breed. And the next part is where most perfect tanks fail. If you understand this, you'll stop wasting years. Here's the biggest misunderstanding in cichlid breeding. People obsess over pH, but pH isn't the trigger, it's the receipt. Read that again. pH is the receipt. It's what shows up after the real chemistry happened. Elite breeders don't chase receipts, they control the trigger. The trigger is what makes the water feel different. Minerals, buffers, conductivity, TDS, the mineral weight of your water, freshness. That's what fish feel before they ever breed. That's why many tanks stay perfect on paper, but sterile in real life. The numbers say okay, the fish say no. And here's why this matters more than you think. Breeding costs energy. It costs risk. A fish will not waste that energy unless the environment says the babies have a chance. You're not fighting chemistry, you're fighting the fish's decision system. And that decision system is built on signals, not numbers. Now, before we go deeper, I need to clear one brutal truth that a lot of keepers ignore. Maturity. Because if your fish aren't mature yet, no trigger in the world is going to work. A teenage fish doesn't run breeding programs. It runs survival mode and drama, and different cichlids mature at different speeds. Many peacocks and haps start showing real breeding behavior around 8 to 12 months, but the strongest spawns often happen closer to 12 to 18 months. Mbuna can start earlier, sometimes 6 to 10 months, but some Tanganyika species can take 2 years, 3 years, even longer. So don't torture yourself trying to force breeding out of fish that simply aren't ready. If your fish are still small, still teen gray, still bullied easily, still not fully colored, don't blame chemistry yet. Step 1 is always maturity. Now here's a quick reset. If your fish are mature and you still get nothing, this next part is where your answer is hiding. Next time you feed your tank, don't enjoy it. Study it. Watch feeding time like a test. Who eats first? Who hesitates? Who flinches? Who waits? Who stays back until the chaos ends? Because this is not random behavior. If a fish hesitates before eating, breeding is already blocked. That fish does not feel safe enough to invest in eggs. It is surviving, not preparing. Breeding doesn't happen eventually. It happens in confidence. And confidence is the first baby. Now look at your sand, not the fish, the sand. Is anyone digging? Is anyone cleaning a spot? Is anyone moving gravel like they own it? Because breeding starts there. Cleaning, digging, guarding, positioning, behavior first, eggs later. If none of that is happening, you are not in breeding mode. You are in stable survival mode. And this is where most tanks get stuck forever. Now watch the tank right after water change, the first 10 minutes. This is where the truth comes out. Some tanks wake up like someone flipped a switch. Males flash harder, females move differently. Two fish start circling near a rock, a male starts cleaning a surface. That is not them being excited today. That is a signal response. And right here is the first killer reveal. Most tanks don't need better water. They need a better signal. Now here's what elite breeders do that most keepers never do, and that is why they never get fry. They see activity and they don't hope. They track, they repeat, they build seasons on purpose. That is why breeding looks easy for them. It is not luck, it is control, and it all comes down to one parameter most people ignore: conductivity and TDS. Think of it like this. It tells you how loaded your water is with dissolved minerals. And in nature, this moves with seasons. Rain season dilutes the water, conductivity drops. Dry season concentrates minerals, conductivity rises. Fish read this like a calendar. If conductivity never moves, the calendar never changes. And no calendar means no breeding for many species. Let me show you how brutal this gets. Two tanks, same pH, same nitrate, same filter power. One tank breeds every month, the other never breeds. And the difference isn't magic, it is seasons. The breeding tank has a calendar. The sterile tank is the same day on repeat. And if your TDS never changes, your tank is basically the same week on repeat. Your fish are not shy. They are stuck in a world that never changes. Now here is the second killer reveal. And this is where a lot of people finally understand why they have been stuck. You might already be doing weekly water changes and still not creating any season at all, because your tap water is the same mineral profile every time, same conductivity, same feel. So the fish get cleaner water, but not a new signal. Health improves, breeding stays locked. That is why people get stuck in that frustrating zone where fish live fine, but never reproduce. And if you are thinking, okay, so what do I actually do? Good, because now we get practical. There are three main season styles that trigger breeding. You will choose one based on your species. And this matters because if you try all three, you create chaos. Style 1, rain season signal. This is the safest for most keepers. Fresh water comes in, minerals dilute slightly, conductivity drops slightly, water feels new. This triggers many cichlids because it mimics a rain flush. Safe version, 30% water change. Strong version, 40 to 50% water change. And if your tank is sensitive, start at 20% and build up. You do not need shock, you need direction. Style 2, dry season signal. Minerals increase slowly, conductivity rises slightly, water feels heavier, food stays stable. Some fish respond when the water feels mineral-rich and consistent, especially some Tanganyika setups. This is not dump random salt. This is controlled remineralization over days. Style 3, mineral pulse. You reset with freshness first, then you give a controlled mineral push after. Some stubborn species respond harder to this than anything else. It is the stubborn fish trick. Reset with freshness, then push. Choose one season and commit. And remember this sentence because it is the whole philosophy of elite breeding. Stable base, signal, then stable again. Not chaos, not swings, controlled seasons. Now let's fix the biggest lie in the hobby. Keep everything stable. That advice is great for survival. But breeding needs one more thing: controlled seasonal change. So stop thinking it's either stable or changing. It is both. Stable base, signal, then stable again. That is the formula. And this is where most people waste years. They chase perfect numbers. But copying numbers won't breed your fish. Copying the season will. Fish don't respond to screenshots. They respond to direction. Now we need to talk about pressure because chemistry alone won't fix breeding if the social system is wrong. This is where most breeding attempts die. Your tank can have perfect signals and still fail because your females are stressed. And I'm going to say this clearly. If females sleep in corners, they won't hold eggs. Because a female can't raise babies in a tank that feels like a prison. A female that feels hunted will spit early, hide, or never accept the male. So you must build safety into the system. Watch the bullied fish during feeding. Do they come out confidently, or do they wait until the dominant fish finishes like it is a restaurant queue? Watch the female's position. Does she cruise open water, or does she stick near the glass and corners? If she is cornered, breeding is blocked. And most keepers ignore this because the fish still survive. But survival is not breeding. Now here is another silent killer. Safe water that is old. Your water can test safe and still block breeding because it is tired. Dissolved organics build up. Waste breakdown products build up. The water becomes heavy, not toxic, heavy. Fish sense that. And heavy water often blocks breeding. That is why breeders do bigger resets sometimes. They are not just cleaning the tank, they are resetting the water feel. That freshness is a signal. But here is a warning most people learn the hard way. Seasonal signals increase activity. That can become breeding, or it can become violence. If your tank is socially unfair, A strong trigger can increase aggression instead of spawning. That is why pressure comes first. Break line of sight, add structure, balance ratios, remove a bully if needed. If females can relax, chemistry signals work fast. If females can't relax, chemistry signals do nothing. Now let's talk oxygen, because this is where eggs disappear and people blame bad breeding. Adults can survive weak oxygen and still look fine, but eggs and fry can't. And even adults get stressed when oxygen drops at night. That is why people get eggs and lose them. It is why females spit early. So look at the surface. Does it move, or is it a mirror? If it is a mirror, fix it. Add surface agitation. Add an air stone if needed. Point your return toward the surface. This can change breeding results by itself. Now let's make this easy for you to apply. If your fish never breed and your tank is always stable, rain season is usually the best first test because it is safe. It reduces stress. It increases freshness. Rain style is simple. A bigger water change, slightly softer feel than usual, slightly lower conductivity than usual, and strong oxygen and flow. Not extreme, small, but real. Then you match the season with feeding. In nature, breeding season usually means one thing: food becomes easier. So for 2 to 3 days after that rain style change, you feed slightly heavier. Not sloppy, not dirty, just higher quality and more frequent. A premium pellet as the base, plus high-protein frozen foods like krill or mysis for peacocks and haps. Mbuna, keep it cleaner. Spirulina heavy foods and controlled protein. Small meals, 2 to 3 times a day, because when the water says season but the food says starvation, fish don't commit. For fish that respond more to mineral increase, you do the opposite. You slowly raise mineral density over days using proper remineralizing additions, not random salt. The fish feel the shift slowly, not a spike. Spikes stress fish. Stress kills breeding. Controlled change triggers breeding. That is the difference. And if you're still with me, good, because now I'm going to give you the simplest schedule that makes breeding repeatable, not lucky, a real system. Week 1. Fix pressure first. Break line of sight. Add more rock work. Add hiding zones. Balance your ratios. And if one bully controls the tank, remove it. Your goal is simple. Females must eat with confidence. Females must swim freely, no fear. And here's week 2. Run the rain signal. Do a 30 to 50% water change. Use strong oxygen. Use strong flow. Then feed a little heavier for 2 days. High quality food. Then stop. Let them breathe. Week 3. Repeat the same signal. Same day. Same method. Because fish trust patterns. If digging starts, if rock cleaning starts, if chasing becomes courtship chasing, stop changing things and let the chain happen. And this is important. You don't always get eggs the first week, but you should see changes in behavior within 24 to 72 hours after the trigger if the signal is correct. If nothing changes after week 3, that's not failure. That is proof you are missing either maturity or safety. Now we need to cover the most common failure, because this will save your success. This is the part that kills more spawns than chemistry ever will. People finally trigger breeding, then they sabotage it. They keep changing things after eggs appear. They do another water change. They move rocks. They deep clean filters. They improve the tank, and they accidentally reset the chain. Triggering is step 1. Raising fry is step 2. Once eggs appear, stop playing with chemistry. Stabilize. Oxygen stays high. Water stays clean. Stress stays low. The female stays safe. And I'll say it again because it is true. If females sleep in corners, they won't hold eggs. Now, one more truth that will save a lot of people. Sometimes breeding doesn't fail. Your eggs or fry are simply being eaten, especially in community setups. If you see a pair cleaning and guarding, then suddenly nothing. It might not be bad parenting. It might be tank mates. Even peaceful tank mates eat eggs. Or the female may swallow the eggs from stress. Or the tank may be too open with no real safe breeding surface. So here are the practical fixes elite breeders actually use. 1. Give the pair a true breeding surface they can control. A flat rock, slate, or a protected corner. 2. Remove predators if possible. 3. If you want guaranteed fry, use separation. A divider, a breeding tank, or move the holding female to a safe holding tank once she is holding properly. Because in many community tanks, breeding is happening, but survival is not. Now here's the final mini checklist that most people need, because this is why spawns fail even after you trigger the season. If you got activity but no fry, check these 5 fast. 1. Bully pressure. Female hiding means no hold. 2. Oxygen. Surface mirror at night means egg loss and stress. 3. Disturbance. Moving rocks or big maintenance after eggs appear resets the chain. 4. Predators. Eggs disappearing overnight means tank mates, not chemistry. 5. Over-triggering. Too strong change too often means aggression instead of breeding. Fix those and the same trigger suddenly works like magic. Except it is not magic, it is biology. Now let's finish with the truth that makes this entire video click. Breeding success needs two things at the same time. The fish must feel safe, and the tank must feel seasonal. Safety without season gives you healthy fish that never spawn. Season without safety gives you fights, stress, egg loss, spitting, and failure. Breeding isn't luck. It is signals plus safety. Control both, and you control the spawn. Stable water keeps fish alive. Controlled seasonal cues unlock breeding. That is the difference. Fix the signal and breeding can start. Fix the pressure and breeding can finish. That is the whole game. And in the next video, I'll show you the exact trigger schedule elite breeders use to make breeding repeatable, not lucky, and how they adjust it for different species without crashing water chemistry. Now tell me in the comments what cichlid species you are trying to breed right now. Malawi peacocks, Mbuna, Tanganyika, Central Americans? And what is the biggest thing blocking you? No pairing? Eggs disappearing overnight? Females spitting early? Drop it below. I read the comments, and your problem might become the next video. And if you want more Dark Cichlids videos like this, hit subscribe. Not for me, for the fish. Because on this channel, behavior is never random. Breeding is not luck. It is signals. Control the signals, and you control the spawn. Now, do not leave yet, because here's the part most people miss. If your water is not crystal clear, those breeding triggers will never hit as hard as they should. Your tank can be healthy, your fish can look fine, and breeding can still stay locked because the water is tired, heavy, and oxygen poor at night. So click the video on your screen right now. I'm going to show you the full clear water system that keeps your tank clean, your oxygen high, and your cichlids ready to spawn on repeat. Click it now, and I'll meet you there.